implicitly 2013 here, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a show that has a loyal following but is very rarely talked about these days, and has its history seemingly paved over by the current MCU Disney Plus era of shows, cause flirting with being included with the films don't mean nothing now. Marvel Studios has gone all the way with its transmedia TV cinema integration.
I'm not here to talk about Westview.
And in hindsight, this was largely because the Jeff Loeb-led Marvel Television division, which was separate from Kevin Feige's regime, is now completely eradicated. So, rip. Anyways, I started watching the entire show to uncover its lost legacy. So join me as I pine over Simmons.
So, are you excited to be coming on our journey into mystery?
Like Christmas.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. opens with a declaration that the secret is out. Heroes are among us, while a kid stares at some Marvel legends. But the Black Widow is based on the comics, not the movie, so I don't know how that works. A building erupts. Superdad is forced to use his powers. The public is stunned. The world is changing, and a team is now assembled to manage it. Therefore, as Ward states,
it means we're the line between world and the much weirder world. We protect people from news they aren't ready to hear. And when we can't do that, we keep them safe.
Ward is supposedly the best spy since Natasha, and he's promoted to a high echelon. That includes learning about Agent Coulson's survival after being fucking shanked by Loki, who now leads this operation. But there's also another big secret that Hill and Shepard book knows of. And right out of the gate, the most noticeable aspect of the show that really kind of blew me away is how broadcast TV it feels. I'm not knocking it, by the way, it's just an unavoidable feeling that you just immediately get. Disney Plus Marvel feels like big budget $200 million 5-hour-long movies. The Netflix shows felt like premium cable shows. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just feels like a TV show. Just a TV show. Next to something like CSI, where it's people in offices dealing with the case of the week. Furthermore, the entire cast itself is explicitly constructed to fit the format of an episodic procedural drama. You've got Fitz and the beautiful Simmons, who are the forensic science nerds. Agent May, the experienced badass slash secret weapon of the team slash pilot. Ward, the familiar handsome spy guy. Skye, the rebel kid hacker with a secret past who becomes our eyes when she's recruited. And Coulson, who's Papa Bear who holds the family together. He's also got a car called Lola.
Don't touch Lola.
All the characters are wonderfully acted, especially the beautiful Simmons. But one of the immediate obstacles the show creates with these characters is the fact that there's an inherent sense of artifice. Everyone have very clear and predictable uses. Therefore, you see the ensemble less as a group of characters, but more as individual cogs in a status quo machine. In other words, their function overshadows their characters. This is especially apparent in the climax of the pilot, which is this super sentimental bit. After the gang stops Superdad after he's killed someone and kidnapped Skye, there's a really cheesy slow-mo shot of everyone smiling at each other. And it doesn't quite come off the way I think the show wants it to. It feels strangely artificial. But does season 1 rise above its own cliches? The short answer is yes. Yes, it does, actually. Season 1 is 22 episodes set after Iron Man 3 through Dark World, and the final third is during the Winter Soldier. Everything is very fine. But there's an inherent dissonance in the show's tone, where S.H.I.E.L.D. has such a fucking friendly, positive energy to it that it disrupts the very premise that it's supposed to be a morally ambiguous spy organization. Jim Stranko even said the pilot needed to be much tougher, much stranger, much edgier to reach its potential. However, the show actually does surprisingly begin to confront this dissonance through the tension between the characters' personal and professional selves. Skye has to decide whether she's here to learn about her parents or be here for the mission. In episode 5, her boyfriend slash mentor reunites with her and she ends up backstabbing the team. But then discovers she's changed. No longer a radical, but believes in S.H.I.E.L.D.'s protective values.
So I guess due process isn't really S.H.I.E.L.D. protocol.
They don't have time for it.
These people are denying our basic rights.
This isn't about us. They're trying to save someone's life.
So you plan to stay?
If they let me.
While Coulson is heartbroken. For him, Skye was an opportunity to redeem himself after a previous failed relationship with his previous hacker, while Ward and May has an affair. Furthermore, it's revealed May used to be a fun, loving goofball like Skye, but when she took out a superhuman single-handedly, the fight killed a little girl.
May used to be different. She was always quiet. She was warm, fearless in a different way. But when she walked out of that building, it was like that part of her was gone.
Therefore, she has a powerful speech about how holding on to pain is the equivalent of being in hell.
Clinging to the person you thought you could be, that's hell. And you're dragging her down with you.
And as a result, she and Skye begin to bond. The line that summarizes the show's visions of its characters is,
You can't save someone from themselves, sir.
You can if you get to them early enough.
there's this sort of core fundamental theme, notion, that to simply have someone's back is a transformative experience that can reinvent and redeem you. And that's how we move on. That's how we recover. And that's how we become better people, without sounding too pretentious. Coulson knew Skye was lying the whole time and starts shouting at her to finally reveal her secret. She reveals that she has no history because it's all been hidden by S.H.I.E.L.D. Coulson offers his help.
Maybe I can help.
The theme is also more apparent when Coulson's big secret is revealed. He's not a robot or a clone or a secret asshole, but during the resurrection process, he begged to stay dead.
Let me die, please, please.
As a result, the implanted Tahiti holiday he always dreams about was used to cover the pain. Later on, Shepard Book even reveals that Coulson was actually dead for days. Nick Fury instead pushed it to the extreme to bring Coulson back.
What did I become, Doctor? Tell me.
You'd lost your will to live. We tried to give it back.
The process left trauma that had to be hidden in order to preserve Coulson's will to live. However, Skye is the voice that brings him back. So in the end, Coulson emotionally thanks his family.
I just want to say thank you.
The line, "You can't save someone from themselves, you can if you're early enough," applies to everyone, even life after death. And this is the beating heart of the show.
There's gotta be something here. This has to mean something. The world needs us. Hydra is out there. We cannot let them win. We cannot let them define us. Do you understand that? We are not agents of nothing. We are agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that still carries weight. That has to carry weight after everything we've been through. That carries weight!
To live for yourself is hard, but ironically, to live for others, that actually gives you immense strength. Although the show didn't truly win me over until the big twist, which takes all this earnestness and tears it down so much that I tightened my anus and never let go for hours. Spoilers, I know the show has been out for almost a decade, but this twist was so f***ing good that I'm internally grateful that it was preserved from me, because it lifted the show from being a mere, 6 out of 10 to like a 9 out of 10 overnight. You see, the entire structure of the show is actually very meta on a big picture storytelling level. This season deliberately charms you in with its tone, so it disables you into accepting this likable but ultimately simplistic and cliched set of characters with a sense of safety. A character like Ward, for example, was a mascot for this storytelling language. He's a generic, handsome action man, but with a dark, tragic past, who eventually becomes the lovable big brother for the whole operation. However, when Captain America discovered Hydra had grown inside S.H.I.E.L.D., we also discover someone in the team is a member too. It's Agent May Ward. Ward is revealed to be playing a character this whole time. His mission was simply to get information on Coulson's recovery, and all his relationships were very carefully strategized and created.
You hate the Patriots.
The Agent Grant Ward she knows doesn't.
Although he's actually grown genuinely protective and attracted to Skye, when the gang discovers it, Fitz loses his shit. This twist doesn't completely erase the mediocrity of the early episodes, but it recontextualizes it so there's actual storytelling merit, because this is what Ward did to the team. Just as we thought we knew what the show was, the gang thought they knew him. The cliches and predictability was just a ruse. Subsequently, as the gang is on the run, because the US is now after S.H.I.E.L.D./Hydra, Maria says there's no S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore. Everyone should disband.
What about my team?
Well, they're gonna have to go through the system. Interrogation.
Not gonna happen.
But Coulson keeps the dream alive. So in the final episode, Bill Paxton, rest in peace, is the main bad guy. The dude who groomed Ward into a cold-blooded Hydra dude and was a clairvoyant the whole time. He gets super strength and super intelligence, which makes him mad. Fitz and Simmons prepare to die underwater. They expect fear. But the beautiful Simmons is at peace. The nature of life and death, inheriting particles and giving them to another life, is beautiful to her.
That means that every bit of energy inside us, every particle, will go on to be a part of something else. And every part of us now was once a part of some other thing. A moon, a storm cloud, thousands and thousands of other beautiful things. They were just as terrified to die as we are. We gave them new life.
However, Fitz is willing to die for Simmons, as there's only one oxygen mask. They open the pod to leave. However, Nick Fury saves them. I'm not going to talk about these two characters in this video, because, well, you'll see why in Season 2. Skye fights Ward, leading to May fighting Ward, who f***ing nails his foot down. As Coulson gets beaten up by Bill Paxton, Nick Fury aids him with the Avengers gun, and they proceed to dismiss Bill.
We're blood brothers.
You didn't tell me he'd gone this crazy.
Ward is taken away with an existential punishment.
But you devoted your entire life to a deranged narcissist who never gave a damn about anyone. And now he's dead. And you've got the rest of your life to wrestle with the question, who are you without him?
Bill Paxton gets a robot body before being disintegrated. This ending is spectacular, a wild ride of emotions, which ends with Coulson and Nick Fury hashing it out as they reconcile under the same ideals. Fury makes Coulson the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D. to rebuild everything from scratch. And then everyone stands for a picture that nobody takes. Season 1 is a solid little show that's very charming, a bit long at times, but it's hard to be ever really mad at it because it has such positive vibes. Although at the same time, it's also very clear from the very beginning that there was never any chance for it to be an important part of the MCU transmedia pie, largely because A, the show never really made a big splash, where Coulson being alive and being the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D. is common knowledge, so if you bring him back to the films, the mythology of the show would immediately become a burden for the film. Be prepared for loads of exposition. B, due to the clearly lower TV budget of the show, where it doesn't look cheap but just simply not as cinematic as the films, they're never really in a position to touch on important or highly recognizable characters. You can have Talbots, but probably not the Celestials. As a result, the show is put into an odd position where it can flirt with the films but never contribute, which immediately hinders the show's existence as a piece of transmedia. There's a quote I really dig from an academic called Long that kind of summarizes the show's predicament. Being optional is bad. If we consider the story of a transmedia narrative to be the sum of all the components in the franchise, then an extension's value is often directly proportionate to how well it adds to the story, the encyclopedia of the world.
Guys like you with a heart. Now you'll be the head.
However, in the show's defense, there's another quote from Long's paper that I would like to add. A transmedia story is often the story of a world. Yes, that's it, that's the quote. I'm referencing mainly because despite Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. not really being important in terms of contributing to the broader story, it does do a very good job in enriching the history of the world, the size of it, the unforeseen consequences. It contributes in making the world itself the main character of the MCU. But does the show eventually find a more important place? Does the characters continue to grow beyond the conventions of their archetypes? The answer is to be continued. So yeah, that was the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. video. This video could have came out ages ago, but I wasn't really quite sure how to present it. Either do I do 2 videos per season, or do I just wait and finish the entire show and do it as one massive video? But then I realized I absolutely despise doing videos without over 13 minutes long. But then I was like, oh, well, I know I have more than 10 minutes to talk about per season, so I might as well just do individual season analysis. And then the transmedia storytelling stuff just sort of naturally came in, because I had a bunch of excess notes linked to a Matrix video that never got finished, so I was like, well, might as well put everything together, and I ended up being really happy with this final product. So hope you enjoyed it. Season 2 video should come relatively soon. Anyways, special thanks to everyone on Patreon. You guys are keeping me afloat as I am dying from malnourishment.
the hell did Hydra know that you and Hand were coming?
We told him. Tell me that you're not Hydra.